Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Extreme Rules 2017 preview and predictions. We have got 6 matches set in stone for this show, and I've been waffling on at least 3 of them. This is a tough show for me to try and predict. John, how about you?
Dude, I'm right there with you. Look, I'm in a level with everybody right out of the gate. I didn't even know Extreme Rules was happening this Sunday. I thought it was happening next Sunday. So for me to blank on when a big event is happening, the last time that's happened? When I was a TNA fan or when my TNA fandom was waning. And I'd be like, oh, they're doing a show this Sunday? Huh. And that's pretty much my reaction to Extreme Rules. Not only am I waffling on a lot of these matches like you, partner, which should make this one of the more interesting preview predictions in recent memory, but we always talk about hype. I'd say my hype is around a 2 to a 3. If I'm really being honest and not hyperbolic, I'd say 2 to 3 is honestly where I am. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, as far as a match quality standpoint, I'm probably closer to a 5 or a 6, but from a story standpoint, I'm at a 2. So, I mean, even those out, and I guess you get a 3 or a 4.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from when you invoke match quality and stuff like that, because I've always said that I think WWE, and especially the Raw locker room, has a plethora of talented performers. But my God, are your stories garbage. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You've already promised 2 rants today, so we have that to look forward to. I'm ready to dig into this card whenever you are, partner.
-5 stars. All right, man, let's get into it. We don't have any pre-show matches that I know of. I'm sure, well, honestly, the freaking mixed tag team match might get kicked to the pre-show for all we know. But for now, whether it's on the pre-show or not, that is the least important, least meaningful match on this card. So let's just open up with that. Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam and Alicia Fox.
I will, and I'm being serious about this, I will give credit to Raw for this much. At least this is something different both for Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, and the cruiserweights involved. I do at least like that there seems to be an effort of, okay, well, let's try something a little bit different. But at the same time, I don't know. To me, it's missing teeth. I really don't even know why Noam Dar and Alicia Fox got back together. Maybe that's kind of an incentive to watch 205 Live. If you don't watch that program, you miss certain things involving the cruiserweights. And it's nice to see Sasha Banks doing something other than chasing after the women's championship or teasing a heel turn against Bayley, which, may or may not even be happening now. But I don't know, just something about this whole thing is lacking. I mean, what are your thoughts about this? Because I'm curious to know your thoughts about this whole thing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's because it's one of those things where I can't tell if they are kind of promoting Alicia Fox or if they're relegating Sasha Banks. And it's starting to feel more and more like they're relegating Sasha Banks.
Right. And I'm glad you made that distinction, because there is a difference. I honestly feel like, watching this feud progress, at first when I saw Alicia Fox beat Sasha Banks, I got legitimately excited. Because I'm like, man, that's huge. Sasha's always associated with only people like Charlotte or this one or that one can beat me. And you wouldn't make that association with Alicia Fox. Now, that's not meant to be negative on her.
No, but that's the thing, though. You and I had opposite reactions to that, because when I saw Alicia Fox beating Sasha Banks, I was like, holy shit, Sasha Banks is dead. And then I got all the blowback, oh, you're overreacting. You guys always complain so much about how they don't use Alicia Fox, but now they're finally using her and you're complaining about it. I was like, okay, you're right. Maybe this isn't them relegating Sasha. Maybe this is them just kind of giving Alicia Fox a push and trying to put her up on a similar level to all the other women on Raw. And then I saw that Sasha was being associated with cruiserweights. And I wish cruiserweights carried with them a little bit more prestige and credibility, but let's be real, 205 Live is where over characters go to die.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I went from being excited for Alicia Fox to having that same sense of discomfort that you're having, because I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't even really about Alicia Fox, is it? This is more about, I mean, you say relegating Sasha, and I don't think you're wrong, but honestly, I think it's more about killing time for Sasha until the main event sees another shakeup, which we'll talk about that. A main event as far as women go, the women's championship, which we'll talk about later in this recording. So yeah, I'm just I went from being excited to being kind of indifferent, and just to kind of round this all out, I'm definitely thinking Sasha Banks and Rich Swann are going to win this tag match.
Agreed. I definitely agree with you there. This is just kind of one of those throwaway matches where it was more designed to kind of send the crowd home happy almost, and just kind of like hype people up and be like, oh, yay, the people be like one.
Right.
It's a feel-good match.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's always the possibility that Alicia Fox and Noam will win just for the sake of unpredictability, because WWE, if nothing else, over the last 3 or so years, WWE has gone intentionally out of their way, whether it makes any sense or is actually good for the product or not, to be unpredictable. It's gotten to the point where they seem to value unpredictability over everything else as far as storytelling goes.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never really been down with that camp. People being like, oh, this is so predictable. Like, I'm cool with something being predictable. Like, take any superhero movie, right? Pretty much every time with every superhero movie I've watched, the villain's gonna lose in the end. But did I enjoy the hero? Did I enjoy the journey they undertook, in facing the villain? Yes, then I don't really see where predictability becomes a negative trait. And that's what I can't say about Raw's product. I'm fine with predictable endings. Hell, even if that predictable ending is LOL Reigns wins, but just make me enjoy the journey there.
Exactly.
And I can't really say, that I've done that much with Raw's product.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem to me. So, yeah, we agree. All things being equal, Swann and Sasha should definitely win. Not that it's a guarantee, but it's definitely the most likely outcome. So let's talk about the other match that involves cruiserweights, Neville versus Austin Aries in a submission match for the cruiserweight title.
And again, this is where, to me, booking, maybe it necessarily hasn't been weird, but it's like whatever. Because first of all, they're billing this as Austin Aries' last chance at the Cruiserweight Championship, because he had the shot at WrestleMania, he lost. And then the match at, I forget what the first Raw pay-per-view was. I feel like, what was that? Payback?
Yeah.
Was the DQ finish. So, great. Submission match, fine, I get that too, because it's the last chancery, and then, of course, Neville's been using that kind of Rings of Saturn submission, and, so it makes sense on both sides. But then on the go-home show, you have Aries tapping out Neville, which, for one thing, I hate it, because you should be building up to that image on the pay-per-view, at least in my opinion. And then now it makes me question, like, well, are they going to go with Aries? Because logically it would be like, oh, last chance. He's adept at submission wrestling. Certainly Aries is going to win. But now this is a match that, if I'm being honest, I'm torn on. I'm still going to go the more obvious route. I'm going to say Austin Aries is the new Cruiserweight champion. But, man, like, that whole go-home show, like, why not have Neville stand tall, even if Aries just passes out, and making it seem like, oh, he could win this submission match. But I feel like giving Aries that much momentum really makes me conflicted, but I'll still go new Cruiserweight champion, Austin Aries. So what do you think about this match, and what is your overall prediction for it?
I think my big thing is, first of all, this feud feels like it's been going on for like 6 months now. And I think it's only actually been going on for like 2 months now, maybe 3 at most. But it is just so repetitive. It just feels like it has been going on for so long. It's so redundant. It's obnoxious. So I know that there's not really such thing as a last chance in wrestling, but man, I really hope that Neville wins and that we're finally through with this feud and Neville can move on to feuding with someone else for the title.
Oh, so you saying Neville feuding for the title. Do you think he's going to walk out with it here?
I do. I think he's going to retain just because Austin Aries started hot and all of his momentum has died. He doesn't even get reactions for his entrance anymore like he did when he first started showing up on Raw and doing actual matches rather than just being on commentary.
Dude, if you're right, which I would not be opposed to, I think I've said in the past and I stand by it, even with all the shit of like 205 Live and stuff, I think Neville is one of the best champions that WWE has just overall right now. I think he's been a great representative for the Cruiserweight division. But if you're right and he retains, I honestly hope his next feud is either Tozawa, because he came out of the winning end on his feud with Kendrick. He won a street fight on 205 Live. or a returned and like refreshed and everything.
Cedric Alexander. Yeah, that'll be it. That's my guess.
Yeah, so one of those guys. I actually hope you're right in this case because my mind is saying Aries, but my heart, I definitely prefer Neville as Cruiserweight champion right now. And I'd prefer him to be doing much bigger things in the future, but only time will tell. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I not only do I want Neville to retain here, but I think it's the most sort of logical outcome. Again, because like, if Neville loses and Aries wins the belt, then obviously they're going to continue this damn feud because we have to have the rematch.
Right.
And I don't think anyone wants to see that, and I know I don't want to see that.
Right.
And then who does Austin Aries feud with after the rematch with Neville? There aren't really that many great heels unless they turn Aries heel, at which point everything just kind of feels like it doesn't make any sense and it's all just for nothing. So
the only heel contender I think they could make something out of, because I'm big on him. I mean, you'd probably get TJ Perkins in the mix temporarily, but if you're talking a feud I could sink my teeth into, Tony Nese maybe, because he always seems like, you know how you once said about the Ascension that you could just have him on the burner and you could turn up the heat, but you don't exactly bring it to a boil. They're always just kind of like right there. Yeah. That's where I see Tony Nese. Like right now he's building up.
See, and I wish I could buy into that, but I don't think WWE sees him as anything more than a mid-carder, really.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can certainly see why you'd make that claim. I mean, we'll see, because, yeah, I mean, once this feud is over...
I honestly think the WWE sees Tony Nese as, like, a very, very slight upgrade over Drew Gulak, who we already know they wanted originally to be a freaking coach at the training center.
Right.
So.
I mean, we'll see, man, because I think ultimately the most interesting point you make on your half of these predictions here is that, I mean, this feud has got to end eventually, and then who's the next contender going to be, regardless of if the babyface walks out or the heel walks out. I think the heel has more options than the babyface, but we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, and see, I think we have more credible face contenders than heel contenders for the Cruiserweight division.
Right.
So I'm picking Neville. I'm hoping for Neville. I'm thinking he's going to win, and that's that. So let's move on to our next match. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley in a kendo stick on a pole match for the Women's Championship.
Partner, I am going to let you take the reins on this one because I know you have some qualms with this match, so take it away.
Christ. Okay. Alexa Bliss has gotten the leg up in every single encounter that these two women have had.
Yeah.
Every single one. Alexa has ended up with the kendo stick, ended up using the kendo stick on Bayley, and stood tall by the end of the segment.
Yeah, pretty much.
So logically, you would think, oh, well, clearly that means that they're letting her get away with all that because Bayley is going to win the title, and it's going to be this big cathartic thing. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Bayley's winning this match. I think Bayley is going to be the first person to get the kendo stick, and she's going to have a moral dilemma, not be able to use it, and then Alexa's going to get it out of her hands and use it on her, even though the rule's supposed to be you're only allowed to use the kendo stick if you're the one that retrieves it. And that's going to be why Alexa Bliss wins this.
See, and I actually feel like you're giving them more credit than I would, because what I think is happening, first of all, I agree with your assessment of this feud. Like, so Alexa Bliss has come out on top on every turn. The whole story's predicated on if Bayley can get extreme, but I think the wording is important there, because the way I see it and what scares me, even though I have no qualms whatsoever with Alexa Bliss as champion, in fact, Ashton, you can attest, I told you recently, I do think she's one of the best performers overall on the product right now. I think this match is actually going to see Bayley get extreme, but she still won't win. That's my gut feeling. Like, yeah, maybe she'll get one or two kendo stick shots on Bliss. Maybe the crowd will just like fire up a commentary. It'll be like, Bayley can get extreme, blah, blah, blah. And then Alexa Bliss turns the tide anyway and she retains. So then what was the point of the story? Because it almost seemed like they made the connection. Oh, if Bayley can get extreme, she'll be a two-time women's champion. And I just don't see that happening. So I do see Bliss retaining, which, I mean, what does that even say for Bayley and her credibility when she's eating dirt on every like event leading up to this and she still doesn't even win the championship? Like, are people even going to care about her? And that's my biggest concern. You know, it's sad when Sasha Banks has been relegated to 205 Live and she still has more credibility, more popularity, more prestige than Bayley, who's been contending for the women's championship. Yeah, And that is so sad, but so true. Yeah, it's bad.
So, and yeah, the whole segment, the Bayley "This Is Your Life" segment, I swear, I don't think the WWE, when they get something right, I don't think that they even have the self-awareness to understand what they did right to be able to know how to replicate it in the future with similar segments. Because we've had 3 separate "This Is Your Life" segments to date. And the first one was the most successful single segment in the history of the company. And I don't even remember who the second one was. I think it was
John Cena and Mick Foley with the whole John Cena feud with The Rock.
There you go. And then the third one was this piece of garbage, right? And the reason that the first one was so hilarious and successful wasn't because the idea of this segment was just so brilliant. It was because you had Mick Foley going out there and making an idiot out of himself, and The Rock, whose entire shtick is to make fun of people and basically be a bully, making fun of every person that Mick Foley brought out for him. John Cena can't pull that off. He's not a roast master like The Rock is. John Cena played it straight face and acted like, oh, yeah, I'm very humbled by this experience. No, that doesn't work. And this, you didn't even have Bayley try to come out until after she felt like she was triggered, and she didn't even try and cut a promo because everyone knows she can't cut a promo. She just went right for Alexa Bliss and attacked her. This was trash.
It was utter trash, and I gotta tell you, my heart breaks the most for Alexa Bliss here, because you could tell she tried, dude. I was even looking at her, and I'm like, it's okay. You can let it die. Like, we're not going to blame you, because I don't blame her. And I know you said when we were talking about it, you don't blame her either. This is the product of really poor writing. And they had, and now I hope it doesn't reflect poorly on Bliss, because I read like, oh, they had confidence that she could pull it off. I don't care how good you are. It goes along with that adage. If you polish a piece of shit and you dress it up, it's still a piece of shit. Kudos to Alexa Bliss for putting her back into it, but the segment wasn't going to connect at all. The moment I heard they were doing this, my body immediately tensed up, and I'm like, oh, dear God. Bliss, please, just do the best you can. And kudos to her, she did. But, man, was that atrocious.
Before I continue, would you like to read the super chat from James, or should I?
You know what? I was going to. Super chat from James. Wrong type of pole match. They should be dancing on one instead. Also, promote Peyton Royce and put her in a feud with Alexa for the title. Ass. Please continue.
Okay. So, basically, and yeah, James, that's a little over the top. I gotta just say that. But anyway, to me, Alexa Bliss did what she could, but the problem, again, is that the WWE doesn't know what makes their own segments great when they finally do get it right, however rare that might be. Because what made the original This Is Your Life segment great wasn't the person delivering the This Is Your Life promo. It was the person receiving it, because it was The Rock in that case.
Right.
You know, like Alexa Bliss basically comes out and delivers a full-blown dissertation and talks to this random woman. And by the way, to me, I honestly don't know if there is an individual company, corporation, or business in the world that hates the fans of its own product more than the WWE.
Now, what makes you say that? Because they put trash segments like this on, or what?
Because when Alexa was talking to Bayley's ex-best friend, remember what she said when Alexa asked her about, you know, what happened that made you and Bayley stop being friends? She said, well, instead of coming out and hanging out with us and hanging out with her friends, she would always stay in on every Monday and Tuesday night and watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, again? We're doing this again?
They literally wrote a character to make it seem like it is the least cool thing in the world to watch their product.
Like, that makes no sense. Dude, you know what that reminds me of? You remember the South Park episode that was based on Guitar Hero? And when Stan and Kyle finally reached that high score?
Yes, you are faggots.
Exactly. That's what it reminds me of, dude. It's like you invested all this time into this. I hope you're proud of yourself. Your life is worthless. That's what I feel like WWE tells us when it's like, oh, you watch our product? Pfft, way to get laid, nerd.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. They're literally saying, oh, hey, you guys watching the show right now. Yeah, we're talking to you. You're a freaking loser. You should kill yourself.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck even is this? And again, I must be in a different kind of era because, I mean, say what you will about Bayley, I certainly have, but I feel like her loving wrestling and her disposition, like, she'd be a top babyface somewhere else that's about wrestling. And yet with WWE, it's like, nah, Bayley, we're just gonna make fun of you and tease you for it every chance we get. And what's worse here, what makes it worse here is I don't think she's gonna get her comeuppance on Alexa Bliss. Like,
and that's the thing is the WWE has had a bad habit lately of having heels say really awful things and then be right about them.
Exactly. Like, it's, oh my God, it's so bad. Yeah, dude, I'm not looking forward to this at all. Really, I hated the stipulation just in general. A kendo stick on a pole, man. Why not just an Extreme Rules match with maybe an emphasis on kendo sticks? Like, I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know why you have to just be like, oh, it has to just completely revolve around a kendo stick. Why can't it just be like a primary kind of story element that's introduced more organically rather than a whole match fixated around it? I don't know. To me, this whole build has been awkward. It's been clunky. It's been downright atrocious at times. And, like, I don't know. I think either way, if you get Bayley to win it back, maybe then we could do the whole Sasha program. But if Alexa Bliss retains, I really don't even know where you go from there. But I mean,
honestly, would anyone be surprised if they did Bayley versus Nia and Alexa versus Sasha for the next month or two?
I mean, yeah, probably not. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. So we'll see.
And those would be, again, we're back to the 4-woman formula. There are only 4 women that ever get really featured on Monday Night Raw, and it's those 4. It's Nia, Alexa, Bayley, and Sasha. And even Nia, which I'm not complaining because I'm not a Nia fan, but even Nia wasn't on this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know.
I know. She complained on Twitter about it. That's why I was bringing it up, but we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we're both picking Alexa Bliss. Bye-bye, Bayley.
How dumb is that, though?
Dude, are we?
I literally said on Monday night, after Alexa got the leg up on Bayley, well, Bayley has to win now, right, John?
Yeah, we did. And yet, I have no faith in WWE to do that, which is completely antithetical to my attitude to this next match we're talking about, which, if you don't mind, I'd like to take the reins on this one. It's
sure thing, man. We have our next match is the tag title match, the Hardy Boyz versus Cesaro in a steel cage.
The closest I'll come to ranting on this video is probably this match, because I fucking hate that this match exists.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it, actually. Mainly because, and I'll get it out there right now, I'm not going to make any bones about it. Of course, I have sour grapes that Cesaro is heel again. And I find it hilarious that, again, this same product that we talk about that hates its fan base, they have Sheamus as the mouthpiece saying, oh, you guys turned on Cesaro. Why do they mention Cesaro? Because they knew they never loved Sheamus. They knew that Cesaro had his own Cesaro section, and they really had to make it seem, oh, yeah, no, he doesn't care about you anymore. Like, really trying to sell us on it. I fucking see you, WWE, and I see the blunder you've made, and it still pisses me the fuck off. But aside from that, what the hell has changed? Because when these guys were still a babyface team, like, oh, we respect the Hardys, Hardys respect us, they were losing singles matches to them. Then they lost at the Payback pay-per-view. I mean, at least Jeff lost a tooth, right? And then when they turn heel and they've got this new kind of attire and stuff going, like, I want to dig it, and I do appreciate the effort, much like I said with the whole Alicia, Noam, Sasha, Rich Swann storyline. But what really has fucking changed? The Hardys are still getting the better of Sheamus and Cesaro, whether it's in singles matches, a lot like the feud going into Payback, and even on the Go Home Raw in a 6-man tag where Jeff Hardy pinned The Miz, who's competing for the Intercontinental title on this same fucking show. And yeah, the Hardys picked a cage, and for people wondering why wouldn't they pick a ladder match, it's because WWE felt like there was an oversaturation of the match type, which is understandable. And I am picking Cesaro to win for the record. That's why I said my attitude's antithetical here to the Women's Championship match, because where I feel like the Women's Championship match, the heel's going to go all the way. while being dominant. I feel like here the baby faces have been dominant, but they're not going to be able to carry it. The heels are going to get, what they've been pursuing. I don't know, man. I hate it. I hate it. I feel like Sheamus and Cesaro have looked like shit. They're finally going to prove themselves at the big show. I really don't know, though, why I should care. I feel like you're wasting the best years of Cesaro's career on this shit. And even Sheamus, look, I'm not the biggest fan of him. And actually, no, maybe for Sheamus, this is the best thing he could be doing, but Cesaro certainly not. The Hardys, I mean, it's fine. It was a great pop initially, and I'm glad they're there. I really don't know what you do at this point. I honestly just hope that the Revival get in the title picture soon and they break up all this mess. But yeah, I'm going to say Sheamus and Cesaro for the win. And if they lose, I'll say that too. If they do lose this match, then they're an ultimate joke like Bayley as well, because the Hardys just keep owning them like their asses. And it just hasn't changed. So yeah, I'm picking the heel team, but I fucking hate this match, dude. What do you think?
Well, yet again, we do disagree. I think the Hardy Boyz are going to retain here. They literally just showed up 2 months ago and won the titles on their first night. I don't think they're going to drop the titles this quickly.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could sympathize with that point, but again, how bad does that make Sheamus and Cesaro look, though?
I don't think WWE cares how bad it makes Sheamus and Cesaro look. Now that they're a heel, and that's the thing too. If you want further proof that the WWE hates their fans, they turned Cesaro heel and said that it was the fans' fault, when the fans literally never showed anything but love and support for the Cesaro. But that actually brings me to my next point that I wanted to make that you didn't make, because you kind of touched on how dumb the Cesaro heel turn was. The Hardy Boyz showing up screwed up the entire tag team division. And I'm not saying I don't want them around. I'm not saying that they're they've made everything bad or anything like that, or that it's their fault. It's not their fault. It's creative's fault. They have a crutch now. The Hardy Boyz showed up and were immediately the most over babyface tag team in all of the WWE, night one. And it was a nostalgia pop, so it made it seem way bigger than it really was. And to this day now, they're very over still, but they are not the team like they were on night one. And because of how over they were on night one, which was a combination of like shock and nostalgia and like, oh, are they going to be broken and all that stuff? Because of how over they were then, all of the top babyface teams on Raw have either turned heel, been drafted to SmackDown, or are teasing a heel turn.
Exactly. I mean, Enzo and Cass teasing that breakup.
Yep.
Cesaro turned heel. Like,
yep.
Yeah, you're right.
The New Day to SmackDown.
Exactly. I mean, the Hardys, normally it's hyperbole when you say, oh, this actor or whatever is going to change everything. But no, the Hardys literally changed everything in the context of their division.
And again, it's not even their fault. I'm not trying to blame it on them. The fault lies on the shoulders of creative and Vince, because they saw the Hardys get as big of a reaction as they did. And they said, well, guys, we don't have to try to establish any other babyface teams now. We've got a crutch. We can just lean on the Hardys. They're going to be the ones selling all the merch. And that's another one. The Golden Truth broke up as well. The Hardy Boyz are going to sell all the merch. They're going to carry the tag team division. They're going to be the faces of the Raw tag team division. All we have to do now is just worry about finding fodder for them to beat every month, and we're good. And now their babyface momentum has completely halted. They still are over, but their overness is accelerating in the wrong direction. They're getting less over every week, and they're doing nothing but winning, and that's not helping.
Yeah, it really isn't. I just do not care, dude. I am so frustrated and so dejected with just everything that brought this match together. And again, you're right. It's not a Hardys issue. This is not me being a certain way towards the Hardys. It's just, again, I look at a tag division that at one time was looking really promising because I thought either Enzo and Cass, or hell, even Sheamus and Cesaro as babyface were going to get their due. The Revival was going to get their big thing, but of course Dash Wilder got sidelined for a bit. It's like everything's a mess, and this is what we're left with. And I just reject it unequivocally. I have no interest in any of this whatsoever. But you are picking the Hardys to retain. I'm picking Cesaro to be two-time champions. So we'll see who comes out on top in this.
Yeah. So the Hardys, they're entertaining. I'm not trying to say that they're anything but entertaining. They are very entertaining. But all I'm saying is, I guess I have a problem with the fact that they're the only team that's allowed to be an over babyface team on Raw now.
Right.
So really, there's no doubt in my mind now that we've actually talked about this. There's no doubt in my mind anymore that they're winning this. They are winning.
Right. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean,
if you think about it, John, if Sheamus and Cesaro do win this match, who do they face after they beat the Hardys in a rematch?
And you do have me there because I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know where you go because normally my default thing would be Enzo and Cass, right? But they are teasing that breakup, which that's a whole other thing that terrifies me, but this isn't the commentary to get into it.
Right.
So
well, that's really the thing, though. Enzo and Cass, not only are they teasing a breakup, but it seems like they're going to be in a feud with the Revival in the immediate future.
Yeah, exactly. So I really do not know where you go. And again, Golden Truth broke up, which is something I haven't even been entirely opposed to because I've liked what's happened since then. But yeah, I don't know.
Dude, Goldust has been consistently the most entertaining thing on Raw.
Yeah, you're not even wrong, dude. That's not even hyperbole. I completely agree with you. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know, dude. But then again, does WWE even know? Does WWE even know a lot of the repercussions of what they do and they still do it anyway? I don't know, dude. That's going to be for them to figure out.
And there have been little tiny teases here and there that the Hardys are going to get broken, but I think the WWE is going to really drag it out.
Yeah, if even use it at all, because every time I turn around, It seems like there's some new legal update for it. Knowing WWE, I don't even think they'd bother with the effort because it's we'll just keep going our own way. It's the Hardys, it just kind of sells themselves given their name recognition and everything. So we'll see. I mean, dude, here's the thing. Again, whether you're right and the Hardys retain or I'm right and Cesaro regains the titles for a second time, it's still a shit situation to me, precisely for the reasons you articulated. So we'll see how WWE can get out of this one.
Yeah. All right, so then we get into our fifth match of the night, Dean Ambrose versus The Miz, in a match where Ambrose can lose his championship via disqualification. And first thing I want to say is I love that they are they're zigging when this show is meant to zag, because this show is called Extreme Rules and The Miz is going in the complete opposite direction. He's saying that I'm so anti-Extreme Rules that if you get even slightly out of hand to the point that you get disqualified, you're losing your championship to me.
Right. I mean, well, what do you think here? Do you think Miz, his whole plan's going to come to fruition, that he is going to become Intercontinental Champion?
Oh, I think this and the next match are the two hardest matches to call for me. Because initial gut feeling says, why the hell wouldn't Miz just tell Maurice to come in and slap him in the face after the bell rings?
Right.
And it's by DQ, and therefore you're the new Intercontinental Champion.
Right, exactly.
That's the easiest thing that you could possibly get.
Exactly, yeah.
But then, I could imagine if they try that, I could imagine someone coming out and being like, no, we're not going to do it like that. Kurt Angle would probably do it. Maurice, you're banned from ringside, and this match continues with the same rule.
Right. I could see that as well. Because, yeah, I mean, it would be very obvious. Maurice is she's clearly pro-Miz, the guy's wife, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, yeah, Kurt would probably be like, no, it's got to be something that Dean himself does, whether a low blow, a chair shot, whatever.
You know what? I think I am going to predict The Miz to win. I think that this might be a little bit of a hot potato situation where Miz wins and then Ambrose gets it back on the next Raw. But I do think The Miz is going to win, and I think that our big match for whatever the next Raw pay-per-view is for the Intercontinental title is going to be the three-way Miz-Ambrose Drifter.
Yeah, and see, I'm glad you brought up Elias Sampson because that variable is what's making me really struggle. Ultimately, though, I'm going to... man, this is hard. This is the hardest match for me because the main event, I have a pretty clear idea of who I think is winning. This, I definitely struggle. But you know what? I'm going to say that Miz wins, but I think they're going to do it ironically. I think he's going to win by cheating. I think Dean is going to want to cheat at one point, and then because the referee obstructs that and he tries to stop him, Miz sees an opening to cheat himself, and that's how he wins. So I'm going to say, yeah, Miz wins in ironic fashion. So, yeah, he'll be new Intercontinental Champion.
Yep, I'm also, I think, is this the first match since the mixed gender tag match that we've actually agreed? Oh no, we agreed that Alexa was retaining, we just didn't agree on how.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so, wow, this was actually easier than I expected it to be, just because it just feels like Ambrose has held that title for way too long now. And with Elias Sampson being involved and everything going on with the stipulation, I honestly, I kind of wish we had like a really good database, a really good comprehensive database, so that I could look up matches in the past that have had this exact stipulation and find the percentage of them where the title changed hands. Because the last one I remember is Christian versus Randy Orton in like 2011, I think it was. And I remember Christian spit on Orton, and it enraged Orton so much that he got himself disqualified and lost the title back to Christian.
Right, and I was thinking of the same match when you were talking about, like, you know, your database and stuff, and yeah, that did work in favor of the heel. I have a feeling it will again here. And yeah, I agree with you about Ambrose holding the Intercontinental title too long. It's really, to me, man, Ambrose is really kind of becoming that tragedy for me, because I really like him. I just know that he could be doing so much better than this, and even he knows it. Because I know, like he said in certain like interviews and stuff, like he really hasn't been that happy with anything he's done in WWE compared to like his FCW and other work. And it's like, oh my God. Like, this run hasn't been bad by any means, but it's like I'm waiting for him to get shaken up a little bit and to do that big angle that you and I would always talk about him doing when he first came into the company. I just don't really feel like that's ever happened. You know, not counting the Shield, of course. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what he does after the IC title. But I think The Miz, I mean, he does make it seem important to his credit. And I love the idea of Elias getting in the mix. So, yeah, Extreme Rules Fallout is actually interesting me more than the actual pay-per-view, you know, in regards to stuff like this. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, well, now we get to the sixth and final match, the Fatal 5-Way between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Samoa Joe to determine who will face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think Finn Balor wins. I think the
that's fair. That's fair, because really, I've been waffling on Balor and Rollins, because to me it's got to be one of those two. And Balor was the only one that interacted with Paul Heyman, so that, like, I understand why that would lead you to that conclusion. But even despite that, I think I'm actually gonna pick Rollins in the moment.
Hey, dude, with how much I fucking love Seth Rollins emotionally, I hope you're right. But for me, it's not just the Paul Heyman stuff. They've mentioned that he was the inaugural Universal Champion. They've mentioned that he never lost the title. So to me, you've got a built-in story. And we've been mentioning all throughout this commentary, like, how lazy WWE is. So if you've got a built-in story and you can milk the very basic beats, why not do it? Plus, I mean, and again, I take all rumors with a grain of salt, but I am hearing that Strowman will be healed in time for SummerSlam, and they want to do Lesnar-Strowman for SummerSlam, but you need something to take up Great Balls of Fire. Oh, my God. But
you know what, though? That almost makes me lean Rollins even more. And I also want to say, if one of the three heels in this match wins, I think it's Joe.
You know what? And see, it's funny you mentioned that, because contemplating a heel possibly winning, which I just don't see, I was actually leaning more towards Wyatt, oddly enough.
I knew you were going to say that, and it blows my mind that even crosses your mind. Yeah. Bray Wyatt, at this point, should be seen as nothing more than a jobber to the stars. He is a nobody on Monday Night Raw. He gets nothing. He cuts promos and then loses.
Yeah, I mean, that really is the basic Wyatt formula. I don't know, man. But see, the thing is, I'm not even, like, regarding a heel winning, and I know you aren't either, because your real poll is Balor Rollins. And, you know, and that's the funny thing. Despite, like, the build they've given Roman Reigns, him beating Finn Balor while he was hurt, and then him beating Seth Rollins, wasting two perfectly good stories on pay-per-view build-up, which to me is completely fucking idiotic. I still don't believe that Roman has a chance of winning, despite the fact that he is Roman Reigns. So, yeah, I'm going to go Balor, but I do hope you're right, because I'd actually really love the idea of a babyface Seth Rollins facing Brock Lesnar, because
and that's a big reason why I'm picking this result. I think Rollins is winning, because I think the WWE whoever is facing Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire is going to have to look really credible and have to look like they're getting ready to beat Lesnar when Strowman does show up.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I think that WWE is more okay with the idea of it seeming like Rollins was about to beat Lesnar than Bálor.
Right.
And they can't have Bálor lose to Lesnar on pay-per-view either, because then they want to protect the demon.
Yeah. It really is a quandary for sure, but I don't know, man. I just feel like I'd love Seth winning. I'm not opposed to that at all. It's just I think you've got the built-in story with Bálor. And here's the thing, too, that's even more depressing, because here's where my cynicism shows. I think they want to get Bálor's rematch in that story out of the way, because I'm not saying they don't think highly of him. I mean, maybe they do, because commentary seems to talk him up and stuff. But, I mean, with Lesnar as the champion and with Roman Reigns as, the main fixture, because we've already talked about, WrestleMania 34 and maybe even WrestleMania 35 as it relates to Reigns, where does Bálor even fit in that scheme? I think really what they see him as, and they could see Seth the same way, so it doesn't invalidate your argument by any means, but I think they just do see them as filler for, Roman Reigns and his whole stuff. So, yeah, it just depends on what filler you're in the mood for, and I'm just thinking they want to get Finn Bálor out of the way.
See, and I think that they might even want to build Bálor up to the point that he can actually win the title at a pay-per-view as the Demon.
Dude, I hope you're right, man, because Bálor is one talented motherfucker. I really hope you're right, actually, because, yeah.
I could even see them doing Roman Brock, where Roman wins the title off Brock at Mania, like everyone's been saying is going to happen, and then Roman drops the title to Demon Bálor, maybe even as early as within 3 months after winning.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. I don't know. Do I think it'll be a great match? Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. I mean, you've got 5 talented guys with an Extreme Rules stipulation. I think it's going to be nuts. I think you're going to see table spots, chair spots, all the crazy shit. Do I think it's been well built? Not quite, but the end result, I mean, it's all about Great Balls of Fire, which I still can't even believe. I can't wait for the fucking promos where it's Joe at Great Balls of Fire, Brock at Great Balls of Fire, I can't even.
Great Balls of Fire, the reigning, defending champion, just Paul Heyman cutting that promo. He's just going to glance over it. And the funniest thing, too, is speaking of Heyman and Great Balls of Fire, Heyman and Bálor had a promo. Everyone knows that because everyone here already watches Raw, but they during their promo, they completely danced around the name of the pay-per-view.
I noticed that too. I noticed that too. I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm it's not just me, right? They totally did that, and they did.
That almost leads me to believe, though, that they might be having second thoughts about the name, and since, I don't know if they've gotten, an official press release out or anything, and I know they haven't advertised it yet, they might at the last second decide to change it and make it No Way Out or something. You know what I mean?
And here I thought the only reason they danced around it was too late to pull out. Now they've got to deal with their Great Balls of Fire. So, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for Heyman to work it in a creative fashion. Brock Lesnar will burn everything to the ground and it will rain Great Balls of Fire. I don't know. Leave it to Heyman to work it in there somehow, but he danced around it today. He's
everything about Brock Lesnar is great, even his balls. And at the next show, his great balls will be on fire.
Yeah, something like that. How you can say that with any seriousness? Yeah. I even picture, and that's why it's almost kind of a disappointing thing that it's a Raw pay-per-view and John Cena's doing his own thing, because I want to see a John Cena promo where he has to say the name of it. Because, I don't know, man. I don't see how anybody could do it. It's dumb as shit. And that's another thing. Really, the name already, it's dead on arrival. And maybe WWE will be treating this as a throwaway pay-per-view. And again, that's where my cynicism comes in, because I don't want them to treat Bálor's rematch that he rightfully deserves as a throwaway angle. So are you picking Rollins officially?
Yeah, I am picking Rollins officially to win this match and face Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ. I'm picking Finn Bálor because, again, laziness, basic angle. And to be fair, Are you all right there, bud?
I'm fine. Just keep going. Jesus.
To be fair, I do think Bálor and Brock can have an interesting match. But see, here's the thing about that, and I don't want to go on a rant here. The thing about that is I always think, oh, that could be a cool opponent for Brock, but every match is the goddamn same. Like, they're starting to run together. So I can't even really say that with the utmost sincerity because what? Maybe Bálor gets his offense in, but he's still going to be eating suplexes and F5s, particularly German suplexes and F5s. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Rollins.
Beg pardon?
Well, think about who you would rather see sell their asses off for Brock Lesnar between Rollins and Bálor. To me, it's an easy Rollins pick.
And dude, you know I adore Seth Rollins, so I can't even say, no, you're wrong. It'd be no, Rollins is brilliant. And again, a babyface Rollins and a heel Brock Lesnar, that is a story that might actually be able to move me. And not that I'm not feeling sympathy for Finn. I mean, dude was on top of the fucking world, and then he got injured, and then this is the mountain you come back to. Fucking part-timer who's a behemoth that's probably going to bust you open the hard way because he does what he wants. So, yeah, it's a rough situation. And I know Stephen Herman, he'll be watching this, he'll be like, yeah, John picked my boy Finn. I just think they want to get it out of the way. I hope Seth gets his opportunity, but I think he'll only get his opportunity when Brock isn't in the fucking picture. Oh, God, fuck Raw so much. I hate this show just so much. And as far as Extreme Rules goes, now that we've gone through all the matches, I can say this is one of those shows where I came in with a certain hype level, and even after talking all the matches with you, it didn't move the needle at all, whether positively or negatively. It's just a show, honestly.
And I will admit that just talking about all the matches has actually gotten me a little more excited. I moved up. I'll say I'm at like a 5 now.
You know what? That's good, man. That's good. Honestly, I'm kind of greeting this show and its terrible writing with like such indifference. I'm still the most jazzed for Money in the Bank, but don't get me wrong, that show isn't perfect either. It's had some things that kind of made me sigh, mainly the lack of Rusev on it, but you know, it is what it is. I think, again, really what you said at the beginning articulated my sentiments perfectly. Will the match quality be on point? Sure, and I think that'll make for fun live reactions, which will be Sunday. But on the whole, will I look at this and be like, man, I really enjoyed the journey and the payoffs were great, like from that narrative standpoint? No, I don't see it, but maybe they can prove me wrong. We'll see. I'm going to hand it over to you. I have nothing else to say, so you can give your concluding remarks and then take us home.
All right, well, yeah, I got to tell you, man, I got a little bit more excited for this show, but I am still not really all that excited for this show. It's one of those things where we're probably going to have 3, maybe even 4 good matches on this show. But at the end of the day, they're probably going to make a lot of really dumb decisions, and all the wrong people are going to win. So it's tough to be excited for it. What I am excited for, though, is our live reactions, because even if the show is as bad as it looks, you and I always manage to have fun, and TWitWoW chat always manages to help us along.
Absolutely. No, I'm very much looking forward to Extreme Rules live reactions.
But then, what I'm looking even more forward to is Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time when we do our live reactions to the Best of Super Juniors finals, which, admittedly, I'm a little bit less excited for now because I just found out that the finals are going to be Ospreay versus Kushida.
What? No! No! You better win, Will. You better win. God
Only reason I think he's got a shot is because of the whole babyface thing. He's a babyface, and Kushida's a dick, and Hiromu is this like over-the-top heel. So maybe Japan wants to roll with the typical babyface heel dynamic and have it be Ospreay, but then at the same time, Ospreay would have been in it 2 years in a row, or won it 2 years in a row, rather. So Ospreay, please win. Please. Yeah, this is worse than Jeb Bush asking people to clap. Please win, Ospreay. Please.
Yeah, what scares me about that and what makes it kind of poetic is when Ospreay won his Best of Super Juniors, Kushida was the champion, and he lost that championship match. Now these same 2 guys are competing for the final spot to face Hiromu. But to me, here's the only comfort I take in Ospreay winning is that Kushida got utterly destroyed, and I feel like nobody wants to see that again. Of course, you could always look at it from the opposite perspective of, oh, well, Kushida got destroyed, now we're going to do a redemption story. So really, please win, Ospreay. Please fucking win, because now I'm just going to be having nightmares about Kushida still being in the fucking title picture. So that's great. That's just great.
But then Tuesday night, we will be live reacting to SmackDown Live. We are at a point where if SmackDown Live quality, as far as the enjoyment and entertainment factor of the show, doesn't improve pretty significantly by and including the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, we will be switching back from live reactions to just regular TWitWoW reviews every night. The Patreon has dipped below $80, so we don't feel necessarily obligated to live react to the SmackDowns every week anymore. We'll still do it up to and including Money in the Bank because we did already kind of promise to do that. So hopefully you guys enjoy it while it lasts, and if it does pick up and it's still enjoyable up to and including Money in the Bank, then we'll continue doing it. So the only other big thing is, of course, Lucha Underground. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. More Mac Mundo, and hopefully more than that as well, because it's, we're not going to have 2 weeks in a row with literally only one match taking up both shows. And hopefully you guys are excited about that. I know I am. I know John is. We're all pretty psyched about Lucha being back. And yeah, guys, that's about it. That's about all we have. So live reactions Sunday. Live reactions to Best of Super Juniors finals on Monday, SmackDown live reactions Tuesday, and then Lucha Underground, TWitWoW, and live reactions on Wednesday. Damn, we do a lot of live reactions, don't we?
We really do.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's going to be about it. So we have a bunch of information in the description, including this match card if you're interested in just kind of looking over it and seeing it in black and white. Make sure that you remember to like the video. We have almost 20 people live viewing the video right now. Only 8 thumbs up to 2 thumbs down. I don't know why people are downvoting the video, but whatever. Leave the thumbs up to counteract the downvoters. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do that. And when you do subscribe, make sure that you click the little bell icon that comes up so that you can get notifications whenever we go live or upload a video. And then, of course, support us on Patreon. If we get back over $80 by the end of June, we will restart our SmackDown live reactions on a weekly basis. And if we manage to get up to $200 at any point the following month, we will live react to Monday Night Raw every week. We do have a Patreon request coming through the pipeline for this month. Cliff Amal donated, I think it was like $16, and he wants us to react to 3 25 to 35 minute matches that he has individually picked out. So we're probably going to do 3 separate videos for those rather than doing them all 3 in one video. And then, of course, you can also buy a t-shirt on Teespring if you would like physical hardware to show for your support of TWitWoW. If you want to rock the brand on your body, or if you just want a mug or a sticker to put on your car, either one, that works as well. It's reasonable prices as far as I'm concerned, and it's not really something I have control over because all prices are set by Teespring and not me. Twitter, follow us both on Twitter. The links are in the description. Like our Facebook page, and if you are active on Reddit, make sure to check out the TWitWoW subreddit. All of our content is there. I make sure to share it to the Reddit after every upload. And all right, that's about it, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the preview predictions, and hopefully everyone enjoys the live reactions on Sunday, and we will see you for that. So make sure that you always stay tuned.